this young lady come from where she has absolutely nobody to call? What type of family she begged and pleaded with the police officers to take her to jail because she didn't have any money or anywhere to go. No ID, no way to get back home. And her first thought was to beg them to take her to jail with her friend. She didn't say, okay, I'm going to call my mama. I'm going to call my daddy. I'm going to call my grandma. I'm going to call my grandpa. I'm going to call my auntie, my uncle. You want to go to jail? Opposed to reaching out to somebody in your family? That, to me, was the saddest part about that video, because I'm just like, wow, is it really to that point where like our young people are out here and they don't have anybody to call on? Now, no doubt you may say, Jay, she 19, 20, she grown. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, in theory, she's grown. But at the end of the day, let my 19 or my 20-year-old, let my 30-year-old, 40-year-old, 50, whatever year old call me. I'm there. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what you've done. I'm not going to leave you out there. Nieces, nephews, I'm not going to leave you out there. Now, we are going to have a talk about your foolishness. We're going to have a talk. Now, maybe that could be the reason why she didn't want to call anybody in her family, because she probably didn't want to hear the I told you so's. But how bad could the I told you so's, or how bad can the lectures be that you would choose wanting to go to jail opposed to calling somebody in your family? Hey, Cedric, she said that her ID was with her friend. Her friend had her ID. The hotel room was in the friend's name. Everything was in the friend's name. The friend had the money. Listen, young people, young ladies especially, listen to Auntie, okay? Because I'm gonna tell y'all this in love. I'm gonna tell y'all what they used to tell us back in the day. Don't you ever go nowhere without being able to get yourself back home. Don't you ever go anywhere without having a way back home on your own. Do not get out there and depend on anybody for anything. If you don't have money for food, your own money, it don't matter if they say that they're covenant. Okay, they're covenant, that's cool. You still always have something just in case, because you don't know what's going to happen. As far as her having her ID, I'm going to slap you when you get home. I'm slapping you for that dumb ish, because what you giving your stuff to this girl for? And I don't think that the girl had the ID, because as hysterical as she was, the police would have gave the girl gave her ID to send her on her way. So I don't know how true that part was. And hopefully this was a skit, because my heart really went out to the young lady, and my heart goes out to the young people, because it's so much like they're being bombarded by so much foolishness that I'm just like, are they even stopping to think? Like, I feel like this is a act first and then think about the consequences later type of generation. Like, they don't really think that fat meat is greasy. They don't think that these consequences, and sometimes it's harsh, like you're getting yourself, this my girl, this my boo, she got me. Listen, you're too trusting. Have not you seen all these situations that's happening with so-called friends, and you're getting caught up in these situations, and now you get somewhere and you get hurt? You all be very mindful on who you're traveling with. Young ladies, Auntie is really talking to y'all. Be mindful. Be mindful of going places with friends, because every smiling face is not a friend. Every smiling face is not somebody safe for you to travel with. Cedric, you're saying it sounds like it's a skip. Denisha saying you're absolutely right. It's this new generation. Absolutely. It's like they will jump out. I'm getting flued out. And then you get flued out and now you can't get back, which will lead us into our next hot topic. Now, this topic is really trending. This man, DeAndre Ayton, and I'm hoping that I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but he is a ball player. He's the NBA Laker. And he is accused of leaving a woman stranded in Turks and Caicos after she refused to do the horizontal mambo with him. He left this chick in Turks and Caicos. Now, mind you, she had just had another man's baby in April, but hey, that's besides the point. He took her to Turks and Caicos. She went to Turks and Caicos with this brother. Got over there. He thinking he finna pop that. He think he finna bust it wide open in Turks and Caicos. And she said no. And he left her there. What do you all think about that? Was he right for doing that? Was he wrong? Was she wrong for going? What do you all think about that? Yes, an NBA Lakers player, DeAndre, he took this chick to Turks and Caicos. He thought he was finna listen. He thought he was finna spray his Turks all over her Caicos. And she said no. He was like, bet, I got you. Watch this. And he left her there. He left her stranded in Turks and Caicos. Again, this goes back to, ma'am, why would you go over there? See, first, let me just rewind this let me just start over from the beginning. So, if you're going to Turks and Caicos, I want to say, if you haven't done the horizontal mambo on American soil, don't take these folks over somewhere else thinking that this is gonna lighten the mood and you gonna get it over there. If you haven't gotten it here, don't take these chicks over there thinking you're gonna get it, because now not only was that the stupidest thing ever, that was illegal. Like he could go to jail for that. Like they're really on these people. Listen, have you not been following what they're doing with Diddy? You could totally be brought up on sex trafficking charges. Like what do you think that this is? Like it's dangerous to do this, fellas. Listen to me. This ain't on. Listen, to protect you all, brothers. This is not a good move. This is not a good look, and it's illegal. You could go to jail for doing this. Depending on what state you're in, this is illegal. You may be thinking, oh, I ain't finna sit up here and be spending my money on beach. She knew I brought her down here. She knew what it was before she got on the plane and this and that. This may be entirely 1,000% true. But all she has to do is call the authorities and tell them that she refused to have with you. I almost said it. She refused to do the horizontal mambo with you, and you left her stranded in an unsafe place. Now you could be arrested and prosecuted simply because you got mad. So you gotta be in control of your emotions. Now, Denise is saying he shouldn't have left her, but I think she knew the plan. But I don't think he should have left her. I absolutely agree. He should not have left her there. Cedric, you're saying he ain't right, but neither is she. She got treated like she acted. I totally agree with both statements. She definitely got treated how she acted. But at the same time, again, they both were wrong, but he even more so because now he's put himself in position to actually have charges brought up against him if she ever decided to pursue this legally. Now it would have cost you way less to get her a ticket or a bus ticket or whatever. Send on listen, she may have flew out with you on a private jet. Not saying you have to take her back on a private jet. You could have sent her on the most basic trip back. You could have sent her on a train ride back, a bus ride back, whatever. But you have to make sure you get her back. And just the fact that you bringing her over there, that whole thing, you all, that's starting to be something, that they're starting to act upon that a lot in today's society, that trafficking thing, they're starting to act, and they're starting to make that a real big thing. And I'm not saying that it wasn't a big thing before, but now we're hearing about it a lot more and it's a lot more common. And the penalties are definitely stiff for those things. So, fellas, I would say this first to the fellas: establish that relationship, establish what it is. Like, stop thinking or stop assuming. Ladies, stop assuming. So I'm going to tackle this on both corners, both edges. Fellas, stop assuming because you finna flew her out that she's entitled to give it to you. Especially if, see, this sounds like a case where they've never done it before. If you ain't got it over here, don't try to take her over there. Don't try to take her somewhere else and get it. Make sure you get it first here. And y'all got a regular relationship going on and y'all busting it wide open here. Then if you decide to take it to somewhere else and continue off somewhere else to get a different scenery, that's a totally different scenario. But if this is the first time and y'all ain't never did it and you trying to go trick off somewhere and now she trying to, you both have an agenda. And now y'all both lost because you didn't get nothing and now she got stranded and now you could possibly be in trouble. Denisha saying, I think that shows his character, that he just wanted the horizontal mumbo as if she was a trick. Now, and I totally agree with that. But like Cedric said, he treated her how she acted because she just had another NBA player's baby. So this wasn't just some random chick. It sounds like, and I don't want to cast any judgment, but I'm just going to call it what I see. It sounds like she's an industry chick that, that goes around with the players. So that he like, listen, oh, so you done busted wide open and did that thing with your tongue that my boy told me about. So, but now you want to get over here. Now you want to act like you brand new over here. I think not. I think not. You going to do the same thing that you did for my boy. You going to do that over here to me. If not, you not getting back home. You got to find your own way back home. But again, the dangerous part with that is that now you've put her in harm's way. Now you could be charged for that. Ladies, stop accepting these type of trips if you know that you're not. Listen, he taking you to Turks and Caicos. Let's not act like we don't know what it is. He's expecting to do every type of ungodly thing to you on that island. You know this. If you are not down, Jay, so you're saying that I have to sleep with, I'm not saying you have to sleep with him. I'm saying you need to stay at home. That's what I'm saying. You ain't got to sleep with him, but stay at home. Somebody fill in the word for me because tell us, keep at home. Okay. That's what you entitled to do. That's what you're obligated to do. Stay at home. That's what you have to do. If you know that you're not planning on going down there and doing all kinds of nasty things to him, You need to stay home. You need to truly stay home, and stay home. Don't get down there with that foolishness. Do not, because you already know. You know, like they say, you know what the deal is. You know what the deal is. And if you're not on that, that is totally fine. You don't have to. But please stop taking these trips and accepting these lavish gifts. And then when these men, thank you, Denise. Thank you. Thank you very much. She put what I said. She needs to stay her at home. Denise said it for me in the chat. So thank you, Denise. If you're not prepared to do that, you need to stay home, because you're putting yourself. Now, here's where the accountability for self has to come in. You are putting yourself in a very compromising situation. You're putting yourself in a position to be left and stranded in another freaking country, where you have a baby left at home or something. You need to be home breastfeeding your baby or trying to change a diaper or something. Like, have you even had your 6-week checkup yet? Like, I mean, are you even healed to be outside dropping it like it's hot? Like your priorities are messed up. But even if it wasn't for her just having a baby, if you know you ain't on that, don't go. And let's do this. Can we start? Let's take it back to what Too Short was saying. Can we start talking about the freaky tales? These are the tales. The tales so well. Can we talk about the freaky tales? Can we just start talking about the freaky tales up front, so that we can just make sure that our agendas align? Because, baby, he about to break. Y'all thought Diddy was something. You ain't seen nothing to this man break out his freak kit in the Turks and Caicos. You ain't seen nothing yet. Y'all think y'all got to watch out for Diddy. Woo! Some of these other ones, and they free. So let's have these freaky conversations and let's talk about what exactly is going on when we get to Turks and Caicos, so that we can just make sure that we're planning the same trip. Because clearly he was over there, baby. He was about to bust off all. Listen, he's about to cap off all up. It was going to go down. Going down. He had a whole ungodly agenda planned for her. And while she want to sit over there and she want to act like she don't know that he came here to see what that mouth do. He brought her there to see what that mouth do. And now she gonna act like she done got up down. Oh, she done stepped on that island with that beautiful sand and that water. Now she gonna act like she don't know what the deal is. He has a right to be upset. This man done rolled out the carpet for you, and you done got over there, and now you want to be stingy with your hoo-ha. How dare you? You find your own way back home, ain't you? That's no doubt that's what he was saying. But if you all had the conversation and you both agreed this is what's going on when we get down here, that's one thing. But for him to assume that it was going down and her to have other plans, and for her to assume, and for me, I can't even say that she didn't assume that he was gonna want some. You knew he was gonna want some. You knew this. You knew it. You know it. You know about the type of pictures that you take. That this man was at 21 gun salute. As soon as he pulled up to pick you up, you knew he was ready. You knew he could have knocked you off right there in that car. You knew what was going on. And you can't tell me that you all were not having any type of freaky conversations and all this other ish beforehand. You can't pay me to believe no foolishness like that. So she knew what was going on. I believe in my heart. She knew what was going on. But she got there and she decided, listen, as she is entitled to do so, she got there and said, not so, Bama. Not so. You will not be doing all these ungodly things to me. You will not. You're gonna have to find somebody else. I'm out here to find me a real lick. See, that's what it is. She used him to go to Turks and Caicos so she can get over there and find her a prince or a king over there. That's all she did. She like, you an NBA player. You got short money compared to the kings and stuff, the princes and stuff that's over the prince that's over here, and these kings and stuff that's over here in Turks and Caicos. You got small money. I'm looking for long money. And as it turns out, it didn't really work out that well for her. Cedric, you're saying, did he pay to get her there? Yeah, it seemed like he paid to get her there, but he was not paying for her to get back because she refused to bust that thing wide open. So, moral of the story, like Lil Kim said, the moral of the story is this: if you ain't licking this, then you ain't sticking this. Sorry, y'all. Just had a flashback. See, don't let this lip gloss fool y'all. But the real moral of the story is this. Fellas, stop flying them out. You all have to start letting them get out there on their own. Therefore, if she gets down there, this may be something that might be safe. Let them start paying for themselves to get down there. And then you say, you know what? I'll send you back. So at least you're not paying for her to get down there. So I'm thinking, but definitely still do the research in your own city and your own state to make sure that that's not considered trafficking. Because if she paid her way to get to you and then you decided, you know what, listen, or she said, okay, I ain't even on that. And you said, okay, that's fine. Let me send you right back to where you came. I feel like you will be covered more in that area. But if you're paying for her to get down there and then you get mad because she refuses to be with you intimately, you could be bringing some legal ramifications up upon yourself unnecessarily, and you don't want to put yourself in position to be that. You don't want to have to deal with that. So some of y'all, listen, y'all fire off too quick. Y'all be like, oh, I'ma show that, and then you end up showing yourself. Now you're the one in trouble. She ain't in trouble. Oh, I'ma fix it for her. Let her find her own way home. And then you find out later on down the line that was not the right way to go, because now she has a civil lawsuit against you because you put her life in danger. So just think long and think hard, fellas, about this, and just do your research. Even consult with an attorney just to make sure, because if you fly people out here, you got money to fly people out there, then just take a little time and just research, just so that I always believe in covering my behind. Cover your behind. Such as you're saying, he thought it was nothing, but yeah, he definitely did. So stop flying these chicks out. Chicks, stop flying out if you know you're not doing it. If you know that you're not planning on going down there to bust it wide open, stop going down there. It's too many women getting hurt, getting stranded, doing stupid stuff like this. This has got to be the most stupidest thing to ever do. You have to take control of your life, your safety, and your future. This is your life. This can work out any way, and you will be somewhere stranded and hurt. First of all, I wouldn't even feel comfortable with going to another country with somebody that's not my man. You're not my man. You don't love me. I'm not going nowhere with you, because it's too much stuff could go wrong. It's too much. Like, you taking me to another country just for a freak off? Me personally, I wouldn't feel comfortable. I wouldn't, because again, there's no vested emotional interest with you, with me. Anything could happen. I could get sick. You'll leave me over there. I could be left over there. I could get hurt. Anything could happen. Do I expect you to nurture me and take care of me? I wouldn't expect that. How could you expect that from a stranger? So we have to do better than that. We have to start putting our own selves, being more responsible for our own actions. So, moral of the story, they're both wrong. She's stupid and he's stupider because he thought he was doing something by leaving her stranded. And now look, she's making a big deal out of it, as she should. As she should, because you left her. You left her in another country. So listen, get your weight up. You all listen, if you see that she's selling it on the internet, leave these chicks alone. Now, you all, look, ladies, again, because she looked like she was selling it on the internet. She looked like she was one of them fans only of models or something like that. Listen, so ma'am, you cannot be mad because he thought you was a trick and he took you over there and he treated you like a trick. You cannot be mad if that's what you're advertising on social media. Like, you can't be mad at that. You really can't be, because if you teasing him and doing all this and telling him all this, because I can only understand what these conversations are like. Again, we just have to do better. Now, listen, you all, speaking of doing better, what do you all think about this? I was having a conversation with a young man, and we were talking about like dates and relationships and what are we talking about on these dates. So I said this, and correct me, fellas. I want y'all to let me know what you all think about this. So if when you're going out and you're dating, for me, I think that it's a good idea to have a conversation between date 1 and no later than date 3. And sometimes I'm a big phone person. I like to have conversations over the phone prior to even going on a date, because if the conversation over the phone ain't hitting on nothing, then I don't want to go on the date. Like, again, I don't want to take the time to put on the good bra and put on the good drawers and put on the good stuff. I don't want to take the time to do that, and the conversation already wasn't hitting on anything when we were on the phone. I like to, because if I can get a feel for what I'm looking for, if I can get those questions answered, sometimes it won't even be a date, because I already know what I need to know. And you may say, Jay, what do you mean? What do you need to know? There are a couple of things that I like to ask up front, because depending upon how that question is answered, it will determine if I want to move to the next phase, whether it be getting to meet each other, going on a date, if the opportunity presents itself for me to slide my questions in. If not, then I like to ask those questions, as I said, on date 1, date 3. Jay, what's those questions? Hold on, let me take some coffee. The questions that I like to ask is mainly just 2 of them, maybe 3. that I think are very important, especially depending on where you are in life and what ages and stages in life that you are in. But fellas, I need you to let me know what you all think about this. How you doing, Charnette? The first question, which is very important, what are your thoughts on marriage? I want to know what you think about marriage. I don't want to know, are you trying to marry me? I'm not asking that. We don't know each other. But I want to know, is marriage in your future? Do you see marriage in your future? Because depending, now, Jay, you're talking about marriage on the first date? Honey, why am I going to waste time? Listen, I don't need a meal. I already keep trying to tell y'all, these thighs, I eat on my own. I don't, listen, bada bing and bada bang, they about to come through the shirt. So you know they're okay. Bada bing and bada bang, they're good. So I don't need your meal, okay? I would like to know what your thoughts are. Because again, you have guys that, oh, they've been married, been beat up by life. The marriage beat them up. First marriage, oh God forbid, the second marriage. I'm not gonna be number 3 because you already done made 2 mistakes. And clearly, for me, I'm like, 9 times out of 10, it might be you. So I don't want to be the third one to figure out, oh, it was really him. He is really the crazy one. Because 2, you couldn't get along with 2 previous wives. Now, if the wife died, one wife died, maybe whatever, and then the other one was a divorce, might be able to, see what's going on there. But if he's like, I don't believe in marriage, or I never desired to get married, I don't want to get married. Okay, well, so for me, that would be a deal breaker for me because I want to get married. I'm gonna make it to the aisle too. I'm not gonna turn around and say, oh, I'm not gonna be a runaway bride again, because I was a runaway bride before. For those of you that don't know, I was a runaway bride, but I won't be a runaway bride again. Hopefully, no, I won't run away again, but I was a runaway bride. And we'll get into that a little bit later. I told y'all my story before, but if y'all want to know about it, just let me know. We'll talk about it another time. But I was a runaway bride. But I like to ask, what are your thoughts? And some people think that, you know what, Jay, asking on the first date is too soon. Well, I mean, maybe not. It's not for me because, again, for me, it's a checklist. And here's why I like to ask that. That's the first question. The next question is more so for him and not me. What are your thoughts on having more kids? Or if he doesn't have any kids, I'm probably not the one for him. And Jay, why would you say that? Because I'm not having any more kids. So I cannot see myself depriving a man that desires to be a father the opportunity of being a father. So to me, those are deal breakers. Those are huge deal breakers. So why would I build or try to go forward with building something with someone when I know structurally we have 2 things that could possibly, listen, that are they're deal breakers. We have 2 major issues. And I feel like people are not being honest. People are not being upfront about these things. And they're just going through the motion, hoping that somebody would change their mind. That's how you get hurt. That's how feelings get hurt. That's how hearts get broken, because you knew that he wanted kids, but you selfishly kept going, not revealing your truth that you didn't want kids. So now he's ready to have kids and he's ready to move on. Then you drop a bomb on him. I don't want any kids. I never wanted any more kids anyway. I never wanted any more kids in the first place. Why you didn't say that when he brought it up 2 years ago? Why wait 2 years down the line? You see what I'm saying? So now you've wasted each other's time. Now you've gotten feelings and emotions involved off of things that you know you were not gonna bend on. Those are two huge things that I don't think people should go forward with if if you are not aligned on those things. Why am I going for date 2, date 3, date 4? So now we can start having feelings for each other. Cedric is saying question 1 is appropriate. Question 2 a little premature, but still appropriate. So, and I can see how you would say that, Cedric, but I think that you can, in my opinion, you can ask anything. It just depends on the way you package it. So I'm good at packaging it. So I can package it up and we can sit there and listen. We can joke it out and whatever it is, but I'm going to get it out. Let me say this. Don't think that when I'm having a conversation, if I'm having a conversation with a man, it's not like I'm going through a checklist and so what you think about marriage? You want to get married? Yes or no? Yes or no? Do you want some more kids? Yes or no? Yes or no? It's not like that. I have the gift of gab. So I know how to ask a question and we can keep it moving. I know how to ask all of the questions that I want to get asked and answered without missing a beat, without flinching, and without putting him on the spot or making him feel uncomfortable. Because by me asking questions in the form of a conversation, we're having a conversation. So again, if date 1, okay, I've asked that marriage and we talked about that, and then kind of the conversation shifted somewhere else. I'm like, okay, cool. All right, date 2 or conversation maybe on the phone. We may not make it to date 2, but somewhere during the week when we're talking on the phone, hey, bring up more questions. Because here's the thing. I want to ask this. If we're not talking about these things, marriage and future and kids and stuff like that, what the heck are you all talking about when you're getting to know somebody? I want to know that. Like, what are we talking about? If we are not talking about these things, what are we talking about? What are you all talking? Because maybe I'm missing it. But what else is there to talk about besides the horizontal mumbo? Or is that what you're spending 5 months talking about, 2 months, a week talking about what you're gonna do? You know, when I get you, I'm gonna tear that thing. Listen, you have lost me. You have lost me because listen, you have to get me here. Like I have to be in tune mentally, because if I check out mentally, I'm over the whole situation. Like I'm done with the whole thing and never to return again. So, what are you all talking about if you are not talking about marriage? If you're not talking about having kids? Now, Cedric, he says, what's the third question? Because I know there's a number 3. You are absolutely right. There is a number 3. The third question, and this is give or take. I like to know now, listen, you all, I'm prepared for it because I know y'all going to try to get me with it, but I'm going to stand tall on it anyway. What is your credit looking like? What is your credit looking? I got to know. I'm sorry. Listen, I have got to know, because you are not about to sit up here and have $150,000 in bank restitutions, and $89,000 in back child support. I am not, okay? I am not You don't have to tell me the score, the exact score, but I would like to know what neighborhood are you in. And if you don't feel comfortable with discussing that, I can respect that. I definitely can. But, and it depends on number three. And that's why I said possibly if I have to see it, depending on how you answered one and two, if I'm going to go through without getting an answer for number three. Because I can kind of find my answer when I get to your place. Because if you got red notices and pink notices, or your stuff is in somebody else's name, those are good indicators that your ish ain't together. You ain't got it all together. And yeah, we're not going to be able to just live off love, because Bank of America and Chase don't care how much we love each other. They want that money. They want that money, and I don't much blame them. So I need to know what it is that I'm getting myself into financially so that I can know. So what if he tells you something and you don't like what neighborhood he's in? So is that a deal breaker? Number three may not necessarily be a deal breaker. And here's why. It just depends on what's going on, because I can help. I can say, so I can help. Number three can be turned around. Number three is fixable, depending on, it could be fixable, depending on what kind of ish you got going on. But number three, there are some workarounds, but you know, you got to be worth it. Like both he and she, fellas, don't think that this is just for women. You should be asking the same thing. Or you should be asking, what are you all's important things? What's important to you? Whatever. These are the three that I think that are important to me. So I like to get this up front. I like to get this information up front, because again, we are going through the sorting process. There's nothing, and I'm going to say this, there's nothing worse than dealing with somebody and you know they want something that you cannot or will not give them. Like I remember I was talking to this guy, really good dude, really good dude. And he kept on talking about more kids. And I'm just like, and I told him, I'm like, I'm not having any more kids. I'm not looking to have any more kids. And I knew that it was something really important to him. And he wanted marriage and all this other stuff, but I'm like, one out of two ain't gonna help, because he's really adamant about that. So I'm like, I had to just slide on back. I had to just ease on down the road and just ease out of it, because that's not something that I want. And unfortunately, it was at that point that I said, you know what? I'm going to have to make this question number two, because I didn't know that going up front. I didn't know that. I didn't know that that was something that he wanted up front, because we never talked about it up front. Now it's like months down the line, and now we're talking about it. And now it's like he's kind of, I was feeling him, but I wasn't gone. He was kind of getting to the point where he was about to be gone, you know, about me. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I got to just, and I didn't want to, but I'm like, you know what? It's probably just best to just go ahead and sever ties right now, because it's only so many different ways that I can tell you, okay, I don't want your ugly babies. Just like, I don't know, like I said it nicely and several times, but then it's got to the point where I'm like, okay, he about to start making me start cussing. He about to make me start cussing. But I said, you know what? From that point on, that experience made me say, you know what? we wouldn't even got to that point had this been something that we discussed up front, because we discussed credit, we discussed the marriage and stuff, and we discussed some other important things, but we did not discuss what kids and stuff look like, because I'm like, his kids were grown, so ain't no way in the world I thought that, you would be trying to have some more kids. I'm like, do you understand? You're gonna be sitting there helping these folks with their math and all this. Who trying to do that again? Not me. But clearly he was. So whatever things are important to you, I think that those things should be asked up front. Because again, if you're talking and getting to know each other, what the heck are you talking about? If you are not talking about these type of things, what are you all talking about? Cedric is saying, what about his and her spiritual and civil beliefs? Absolutely. Those are definitely things that all that comes in a conversation up front. But I gave y'all my top 3, Cedric, so we don't have to go. We didn't have time to go into my top 10. But that's definitely, your spiritual belief is definitely on there, because if you worship the devil, then I need to leave you over there with the devil so that you can have all the time that you need to have with your father. But I'm not interested. But again, guys, when we talking and dating, these are questions to ask up front. You know why? Because a lot of times when we dating and we asking this, we going through the motions, and we're getting to know each other, and then we're trying to wonder why we're good enough to date but not commit to. Those could be some of the reasons. Those could be some of the reasons why they're feeling like, you know what, I can date her, but I can't commit to her because she don't want to have kids, or he want to have kids, or he don't want to get married. And these different things. There's so many reasons why people choose not to commit. But when you really think about the grand scheme of things, to me, I think that there are only 2 real reasons why people won't commit. And we're going to get into that. So tonight, first, I want to talk about, is being in a long-term relationship, do you all consider that a commitment? We've been dating for 5 years. Is that a commitment? What do you all think about commitment? And if being in a long-term relationship is considered a commitment, how long should we remain in a committed relationship before we say, okay, listen, okay, we've been committed 2 years, 3 years. Okay, so what are we doing? Like, are we going forward with this? Are we not going forward with this? Because at this point, it's like, it's 3 years. But like I just said previously, if we're not having these type of conversations up front, you could be with somebody that is just a serial long-term dater. Like, look at Common. Baby, he done been with one woman 7 years, 5 years, 4 years. That Bama ain't about thinking about marrying nobody. So he will long-term relationship you up, but he ain't putting no ring on it. Do you want to find yourself in that type of situation? You got Jim Jones and Chrissy. She been with that man since God knows how long. I know she just like, I'm over it. I know he ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere. I'm just going to settle for this. And it's sad that you have to settle for something just because you want to keep that person. But years ago, and maybe she's finally changed her mind and just accepted the fact that, you know what? He's not going to marry me. So I would rather have him in this capacity of us just being in a long-term relationship opposed to losing him completely. And if that's how she feels on it, I mean, more power to you. Cedric, you're saying you got to make sure y'all equally yoked. Absolutely. You absolutely do. And the only way you're going to find that out is, again, it's certain conversations that have to be had. And then after the conversation, let's see what life looks like together. What are we doing on a day-to-day basis? Are we meshing, or are we constantly at each other's throat? Are we constantly in conflict with each other? Because if you are, then that's definitely a good indication that y'all probably not the right fit together. You're probably not the right fit together. And a lot of people don't like to accept that. But again, you gotta, what do you want? Know what you want and talk about that ish before you in a long-term committed relationship. And now you're trying to put pressure on, oh, I'm gonna give you an ultimatum. If you ain't marry me in 2 days, it's over with. What? Save your ultimatum. What are you talking about? Ultimatums? What? Cedric, you're saying, I said it before. I'll say it again. 6 months. 6 months for what, Cedric? 6 months for what? Are you saying 6 months? A man knows in 6 months if he wants to be with her or marry her? Or are you saying 6 months to before you start taking something seriously? Elaborate a little bit more, Cedric. But here's the thing. I'm like this. At this point, I'm not going to do a long-term relationship without marriage. That's just not on my list of things to do. It's not. What you're not gonna do is waste my time, and I'm not going to waste yours. So again, that's why I believe that certain conversations can be had up front so that we can ensure that we're not wasting each other's time. Time is of the essence. Especially, listen, ladies, if you are in your good childbearing years and you know that you want kids and the whole marriage thing, and this man doesn't want that, or he still hasn't made his mind up. He's made his mind up. He doesn't want those things with you. So you have to let him go, because one of the saddest things that I've seen is beautiful women holding on to these men, holding on to these relationships, and then their childbearing years pass them by. They've wanted kids, and now you're at the age where you cannot have kids, or it's not safe to do so. Listen, we don't have Shanti's dime. We don't got Beyonce's dollars. So the health care that is available to them may not necessarily be available to you. So I know some people saying, listen, I know women having babies in their 50s and their 60s. As long as you got that insurance and that money they got, and your health is what similar to what their situation is, then go for it. But that's not a lot of women's stories. So I wouldn't put too much stock in that. Hey, pretty Tasha, how you doing? Hey, Leanna, my sister's online. Hey, Lee. But I wouldn't put too much stock into that. But you waste your childbearing years because you're hoping that he changes his mind. You hoping that he sees the value in you and marries you and do all these things. But after 2 years, 3 years, and I'm going to say this, there are exceptions to every rule. There are exceptions to every situation. But more often than not, when you're in a relationship that long and he ain't said nothing about marriage to you, and now you're getting restless, because I think we tend to get restless after a year. About a year. If you're the chick that want to get married, if you're not the chick that desires marriage, then nothing that I'm saying relates to you, or nothing, it doesn't apply to you. But for the women that desire marriage, that desires a commitment, that desires having kids, that desire those things, you typically, that itch starts to come about a year. You a year into it, y'all going solid, y'all going strong, and then you're like, Zeg, okay, like, like, what's up? I mean, like, then you start living together. The first year he ain't said nothing about marriage. So you like, okay, well, I know when I move in, he gonna have no choice but to want to get married because he gonna see how good of a wife I'm gonna be. He gonna see how good I'm taking care of him and this and that. Ladies, that don't always work. That don't always work because now that you've moved in with him, a lot of times there is no incentive for him to marry you now because think about it. You're there. He got you there. You're doing everything that a wife is doing. And if you are living with him and you're like, well, I'm not doing nothing that a wife should do because I'm not his wife. So I'm not going to be cooking for him. I'm not, then why would you move in with him? Why would you move in if you're not cleaning the house? I don't understand. You should have stayed at your place and he should stay at his place if you're not going to fulfill that role because I don't understand what's the purpose of moving in together under one roof and you're not going to take care of the household. Like I don't understand. So that part is beyond me. Cedric is saying a man knows after 4 weeks whether he wants to seriously invest himself into you. If he ain't put a label on y'all relationship, you're just an option. He's holding on to real talk. Absolutely, Cedric. I totally 1000% agree with that. And ladies, I understand a lot of times that may be hurtful for us to accept because we are the bomb, we are the end all be all, and we just don't think that we're not for every man. We just don't want to believe that every man don't want us. We just don't want to. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, ladies, but sometimes you're just he's not. Like Cedric said, after 4 weeks, this man know whether or not he wants you. He knows whether or not he sees a long-term future with you. But a lot of times, listen, men, a lot of times, listen, let's be honest, they get comfortable with you. They like having you around. You're good enough to date. You're good enough to hang off the chandeliers. You're good enough to slob on Bob and all that. But you're not good enough for a commitment. And sometimes you just got to put them in position and let them know either you want, especially if you are desiring kids, sometimes you just got to let them know, listen, either you want to ride this ride forever or you don't. Because listen, honey, my ovaries are drying up as we speak. Okay. My ovaries, my eggs are dying as we speak for the kids, for the women that want to have kids. And if you're reaching that 35, you're reaching that 35 age range up in there, 35, 40. Listen, baby, them eggs, they start dying, just drying up quickly. So these are definitely conversations that, again, definitely need to be had up front. Now, am I saying, oh, well, if you're with this man and he hasn't said anything to you about marriage, should you give him an ultimatum? I personally don't believe in ultimatums. I really don't. I don't. And here's why I don't. Because I never want to feel as though I'm twisting a man's arm to be somewhere he doesn't want to be. I'll say that again. I'm never going to twist your arm to be somewhere that clearly you don't want to be. You never have to settle for me. You will never have to worry about me giving you an ultimatum. You either do this or I'm going to leave. There's no need for that, honey. No need for that at all. All you have to do is tell me that I'm not who you looking for and I'm done. But ladies, a lot of men will not tell you that. Verbally, they're not going to tell you that. but their actions will tell you that. Jay, what actions? What are you talking about? What actions will tell you that? The actions of you not getting what you want, what you desire. A man that wants you, I will say this and I will always say this. A man that truly wants a woman, he will have her. He will not leave you wondering. You will not have to wonder, what are you to him? Where are you going? What are you doing? You won't have to worry or wonder about any of that, because when you're her, he's going to always let you know that, because he doesn't want to lose you. Now, fellas, correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong. But if a man want a woman, if you are her, if you are his person, he's going to let you know that, because he doesn't want to risk losing you. But if you are not his person, he doesn't mind losing you. Like, he, as long as he can keep you around, he will keep you around. And a lot of times, a lot of us, we get comfortable with the fact that they're keeping us around. But are you really getting what it is that you want and you desire? Because they'll string you along and they'll have you holding on. They're going to hold up. He don't want to let me go. He don't want to let me go. But he's also not going to give you what he wants. I promise you, if you let go, he's going to let go too. So you, in essence, you're the one that's holding on, because he can live without you. He can live without you. A man that wants you, you don't have to nag him. You don't have to put him on a 5-year game plan, a 6-year game plan. You don't have to do any of that. You don't. Because he's going to make sure that you know your place in his life is solidified. He's going to let you know that. Cedric is saying his speech and actions will tell you everything. Absolutely. And you won't get that out of twisting his arm. Well, we've been together for 4 years. You got 2 years to marry me. And if you ain't married, what kind of foolishness is this? You already gave him 4. So you finna give him 2 more to give him 6? He like, bet, I got you. I get to get another 2 years out of this, and I ain't got to commit and do nothing. What is he doing in 2 years? What's supposed to change? What is he supposed to see in 2 years that he hasn't seen in the 4 years that you already gave him? Ladies, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for heartache, heartbreak, and pain. You're setting yourself up. I love you, ladies, but we have to have this talk, because a lot of times this is us. This is us. Now, women, they do have an issue sometimes, but more times than not, it's the women, we want to commit, and the man, he's fine with just dating you long term, baby. He can date you for 40 years and never marry you, and he will be fine with that. And if you are a woman that's fine with that, then I don't knock that, because each situation is different. Everybody don't desire to get married. Some people just love the fact of, listen, this is my person. We don't need this conventional love, and we don't need these a piece of paper, as people like to say. You don't need a piece of paper to prove that you love this. Listen, rock out on that. But if you're the woman that is desiring marriage and you haven't gotten that, I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm gonna say 3 years tops. And 3 years is stretching it. 3 years is a stretch. But if in 3 years he ain't said nothing to you about marriage, I would say this. I would bring it up and I would see, so what do you, again, this is why I like to ask this ish way up in the beginning. What are your thoughts on marriage? Because if he says he believes in marriage or he would like to get married, and 3 years down the line and he ain't saying jack to you about marriage, you, my love, are not the one. He's just keeping you by because you're convenient and he likes to have you around. But you're not the one that he's going to say I do to. But he will keep doing you until he finds the chick that he wants to say I do to. So we have to, and again, you don't give him no ultimatum because you're not going to do anything but waste more of your time. Pretty Tasha, you're saying right. All I said on my post, I said is dating a man that can't help you financially is a waste of time. And if you came on there talking, taking the post out of context, and then you're saying that is true. Cedric, you're saying 6 months. Absolutely, Cedric, I'm with you. 6 months is all that it takes. But if it, again, I'm willing to give y'all a little bit longer. Cedric done said 6 months. But I'm gonna be a little, I'm just gonna go out on a limb and I would say 3 years at the max. And like I said, I don't think I will stick around for 3 years, but I would say 3 years. And if y'all ain't talking about, he hasn't said anything to you about marriage, you're not the one. And I know it's hard, but ladies, bow out and let it go. Why set yourself up for more years to waste more time? You're just wasting more time because he's content. He already know his mind is made up. You ain't the one. And then a lot of times I've seen this happen. He breaks up with this chick. He been with you for 12 years. And he goes and he's with this lady for a year. And they getting married within that year. Oh my God. And it will crush you to the bone. Because you're like, oh my God, I was just with him for 12 years. And he just met her a year ago and he married her. Because she was his person. And you were just something that he was having fun with. Not saying that he didn't care about you. It's not saying any of that. It's simply saying that you were not the one that he wanted to give forever to. And he didn't. And he held on to you until he found who did it for him. So you have to stop allowing yourself to be placeholders, ladies and fellas. We got to stop being placeholders. That's why I say, you know what? Have these conversations up front so that you can know what a person is feeling. So if you know that they believe in marriage and this and that, so now after you guys are dating and you see 6 months going, ain't saying nothing about marriage, a year. Now you need to start making some decisions on, do I stay or do I move around? But again, have these important conversations because you don't want to be 12 years in a relationship and you dated them and you wondering why they won't commit. Guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Please do me a favor, go to our Facebook page, like and follow and subscribe our channel. That's the Jaye Spot Radio. Go to Facebook, like and follow us, the Jaye Spot. Go to Instagram, Jaye Spot. Jay is spelled Jaye for all three. Till next time, you all take care of yourselves and each other. Peace out. Good night.
Thank you for hitting the Jaye Spot on IntellectualRadio.com.